Hi, I'm Charlotte Morgan. I'm a senior marketing executive at Pinnacle Communications. The fluorescent lights of my office hummed overhead as I scrolled through Michael's phone records. Something felt off for weeks. Those late nights, the hushed phone calls, the sudden change in his routine. My marketing analytics brain is trained to spot patterns, and this pattern screamed trouble. Sarah, my best friend and colleague, leaned against my desk. "You've been staring at that screen for hours." "Something's not adding up," I muttered. Sarah knew me too well. "Spill it, Charlotte." I pulled up the call logs. Repeated calls to a number not in Michael's contacts. Always after 10 p.m. Always when I thought he was working late. "I'm going to find out who this is," I said, my fingers already tracing the number. A quick search revealed the number belonged to a graphic design studio. To my sister Emma's studio. The world tilted. I called the number. A receptionist answered. "Dreamscape Design Studio." "I need to verify something," I said, my marketing negotiation skills kicking in. "Could you confirm Emma Morgan is currently in the office?" "Oh, she's actually in a meeting with a client. Can I take a message?" Lies. I knew Emma's schedule better than anyone. She was supposed to be at a family wedding in Colorado. I drove home, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. The house was silent when I entered. Michael's laptop sat open on the kitchen counter. One click. That's all it took. Text messages between Michael and Emma lit up the screen. Intimate messages, weeks of conversations, proof of an affair that had been happening right under my nose. "How long?" I whispered to myself. The messages went back 16 months. 16 months of betrayal, of lies, of my sister and my husband sharing secrets, sharing moments, sharing everything except the decency to be honest. When Michael walked in, I was waiting. "We need to talk," I said, my voice eerily calm. He tried to play dumb. "About what?" I slid the printed messages across the kitchen counter. "About this." His face changed, from confusion to panic to a mask of calculated control. "It's not what you think," Michael started. 16 months, I interrupted. "That's a long time for something that's not what I think." Michael straightened his posture. The sales representative in him emerged, smooth, manipulative. "We can work this out. Think about our reputation. My career." "I want a divorce," I said. He laughed, actually laughed. "No, you don't. Who would support you? How would you manage?" I smiled, a cold, calculated smile that made him take a step back. "Watch me." Spread the documents across his conference table, his fingers tracing the financial records I'd gathered. "These bank statements are interesting," he said. "Interesting how?" I leaned forward, my marketing analyst brain already processing potential patterns. Daniel pointed to a series of small strategic transfers. "Michael's been moving money around. Micro transfers between accounts. Consistent pattern that screams preparation." Sarah adjusted her blazer, her keen eye for detail matching my own. "Classic asset hiding strategy. He's trying to create financial shadows before the divorce." "Exactly," Daniel confirmed. "But he's not as clever as he thinks. These transfers leave digital footprints." I pulled out my meticulously organized laptop. Each file was color-coded, labeled with precision. "I've been tracking Michael's professional network. His pharmaceutical sales career depends entirely on reputation and trust." Sarah leaned closer. "Corporate reputation is everything in sales. One crack, the whole facade crumbles." "I want comprehensive documentation," I stated firmly. "Text messages, financial records, communication logs, everything." Daniel studied me, a hint of professional respect in his eyes. "You're not just seeking a divorce, you're planning systematic exposure." "He made this personal," I replied, my voice calm but steel-lined. 16 years of marriage, 16 months of betrayal with my own sister. My phone vibrated. Emma's number flashed briefly before I silenced it. Sarah caught the moment. "She'll keep trying to reach you." "Let her try," I muttered. Daniel started organizing evidence into strategic categories. "We need multiple layers of proof, affair documentation, financial misconduct evidence, Professional reputation demolition. I have internal contacts at Michael's company, I revealed. Regional sales managers who've harbored suspicions about his methods for years. Sarah raised an eyebrow. How deep are these suspicions? Consistent rumors about inflated sales reports? Potential commission manipulation? Nothing prosecutors could immediately act on, but enough to raise serious corporate red flags. Daniel looked impressed. Your research is meticulous. Marketing strategy is about understanding complex networks, I explained. Gathering intelligence, identifying vulnerabilities. This is no different. Sarah pulled out her own notebook. I've got connections in design circles. Emma's freelance reputation could also take a hit if we strategically leak information. The plan was taking shape. Systematic, calculated, total. We're not just breaking a marriage, Daniel observed. We're dismantling 2 careers. They chose their actions, I responded coldly. Now they'll face consequences. Sarah squeezed my hand. Are you absolutely certain? I looked her directly in the eyes. Absolutely. Daniel started drafting initial legal strategies. We'll file for divorce with clear evidence of infidelity, request forensic financial analysis, challenge any asset distribution. My phone buzzed again. Another ignored call from Emma. She knows something's coming, Sarah remarked. Good, I said. Let her anticipate. The conference room felt charged with potential energy. Outside, downtown Chicago's financial district continued its relentless rhythm. Corporate towers stood like silent witnesses to countless personal and professional battles. But inside Daniel's office, we were preparing for war. And I intended to win. Daniel looked up. Ready to proceed? I smiled. A smile that promised nothing but total victory. Let's begin. The pharmaceutical conference's ballroom hummed with professional chatter when I walked in, Sarah strategically positioned beside me. Target acquired, she whispered. Michael stood near the stage, mid-presentation about quarterly sales strategies. His perfectly pressed suit and polished demeanor screamed corporate success. Not for long. Daniel had positioned our key witnesses perfectly. 3 regional sales managers sat scattered throughout the audience, each with a carefully prepared dossier. I recognized Mark Henderson, Michael's most senior regional manager, watching with a calculated gaze. As Michael clicked through his presentation slides, I caught Sarah's signal. The first text message appeared on the conference's main screen. Large, unmistakable. An intimate message from Emma to Michael. What the hell? Someone muttered. Whispers erupted. Phones started recording. Michael's professional facade cracked. Sweat beaded on his forehead. Technical difficulties, he stammered. More messages appeared. Bank transfer records, hotel booking confirmations, a complete timeline of betrayal projected for everyone to see. Mark Henderson stood up. Care to explain these financial irregularities, Morgan? Michael looked trapped, his carefully constructed professional image disintegrating in real time. This is a personal matter, he tried. Personal? Mark scoffed. These look like potential commission fraud records. A senior executive approached the podium. Morgan, these documents suggest significant misconduct. Sarah leaned close to the conference organizer. We have complete documentation, verified by legal counsel. The corporate vultures began circling. Michael knew his career was over. Simultaneously, Emma's design studio website went live with a comprehensive exposé. Client testimonials revealing her unprofessional behaviors, financial discrepancies, breach of professional ethics. I've worked with Emma Morgan for 2 years, one testimonial read. Her personal drama consistently interfered with professional deliverables. Another added, unreliable, unprofessional, untrustworthy. 2 careers, simultaneously destroyed. Daniel had orchestrated everything with surgical precision. No stone left unturned, no opportunity for damage control. How? Michael approached me later, desperation in his eyes, cornered near the conference exit. You taught me everything about strategic planning, I responded coldly. I'm just applying your lessons. Sarah watched Michael being escorted out by corporate security. Checkmate, she whispered. The legal proceedings would be a formality. Evidence was overwhelming. Professional reputations shattered. Personal trust obliterated. Mark Henderson approached me. "I've suspected Michael's methods for years. Thank you for bringing this to light." "Professional integrity matters," I replied. Daniel was already preparing the next legal moves. Divorce proceedings, asset division, complete exposure. Michael and Emma had chosen their path. Now they would walk it, facing every consequence. The conference hall buzzed with shocked conversations. Careers ending, reputations destroyed, all in the span of 30 minutes. Sarah squeezed my hand. "Are you okay?" I looked at her, my expression calm and determined. "Perfectly fine." 2 people had bet against me. They lost, spectacularly. The courtroom felt sterile. Michael and Emma sitting on the opposite side, their once confident demeanor now completely shattered. Daniel slid the settlement documents across the table. "Non-negotiable terms." Michael's lawyer looked pale. "These conditions are unprecedented." 16 months of betrayal? I responded coldly. "Unprecedented actions deserve unprecedented consequences." The terms were devastating. Michael would lose his pharmaceutical sales license. Professional misconduct investigations would follow. His entire career was essentially terminated. Emma's design studio? Bankrupted. Client contracts canceled. Reputation destroyed beyond repair. "You'll get nothing," Daniel stated matter-of-factly. "Zero alimony, zero shared assets." Michael finally broke. "This is complete destruction." "You destroyed our marriage," I replied. "I'm simply returning the favor." Sarah sat beside me, a silent pillar of support. Mark Henderson from Michael's company had provided additional testimony about financial irregularities, further cementing the professional demolition. Emma tried speaking, her voice cracking. "Charlotte, we can talk about this." I cut her off instantly. "We're not family anymore. Not after what you've done." The judge reviewed the documents meticulously. Each page turned felt like another nail in their coffin. Stamp, signature, divorce finalized. Michael approached after the hearing, desperation etched across his face. "You've ruined everything." "No," I corrected, my voice razor sharp. "You ruined everything. I'm just cleaning up the mess." Daniel outlined the final consequences in excruciating detail. Criminal investigations were pending. Financial penalties were substantial. Their professional networks had completely collapsed. "The pharmaceutical board will conduct a full investigation," Daniel explained. "Your sales manipulations will be thoroughly examined." Michael looked defeated. The once confident sales representative was now a shell of himself. Walking out, Sarah turned to me. "How do you feel?" "Free," I answered simply. 3 months later, I accepted a senior executive position at a competing pharmaceutical marketing firm. Ironically, my strategic takedown of Michael had made me a legend in corporate circles. Mark Henderson recommended me personally during the interview. "Your precision is remarkable," he said, reviewing my portfolio. "I learned from the best," I replied, a subtle dig at Michael's former tactics. The corporate world rewards winners, and I had won, comprehensively. Michael and Emma would spend years recovering, if they ever recovered. "Your story is impressive," the hiring manager noted. "Most people would have crumbled." "I'm not most people," I responded. My phone buzzed. Another job opportunity, another chance to prove my worth. Sarah celebrated with me that evening. "You've transformed a personal tragedy into professional triumph." "They underestimated me," I said, raising a glass of champagne. "Big mistake." The corporate landscape had changed. My reputation wasn't just intact, it was enhanced. Michael and Emma's betrayal had become my greatest professional advantage. Revenge was just the beginning. My real story was just starting. Each document signed, each strategy executed, each consequence delivered. Total victory. How far would you go if your closest family member destroyed everything you've built? Is revenge ever truly justified? Or does it just make you become the very monster who hurt you? I've shown you my story of systematic destruction, but I want to hear yours. At what point does protecting yourself cross the line into becoming something darker? Have you ever been betrayed so deeply that the thought of forgiveness felt like another violation? Drop your most raw, unfiltered experiences in the comments. And don't hold back. If you're brave enough to share, smash that subscribe button and let's build a community of survivors who refuse to be victims. This isn't just a story, it's a battle cry for everyone who's ever been pushed to their breaking point.